Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Treaty 1 territory and the traditional homeland of the Métis Nation. My name is Marla Billinghurst. I'll be chairing the panel this afternoon. To my left is Mr. Brent McIntyre, and the assessor this afternoon is Mr. Stephen Lovenstein. Our secretary this afternoon is Ms. Katie Sutherland. We'll be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that applicants or the assessor make at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and its city administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the Board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of Queen's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the Board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the matters to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony, followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony, followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave, and the process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the Board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the order by registered mail as soon as possible. And as information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. And may I please ask that everyone turn off their cell phones. Thank you. The first matter on this afternoon's docket has no address, so it will be the roll number ending in 7,000. Does that help?
So just as a kind of procedural point, all four of these parcels are contiguous. Okay. And there's actually a fifth roll that we settled on. And so in our brief, we dealt with them all together. We purchased them all together. And so there's going to be a lot of repetition if we're dealing with them all kind of four separately.
Okay. Well, I mean, as well, the information, if you put it on the first one, we can just apply it to the others if that's easier for you.
Yeah, and that's our intention.
Okay, no problem. But we'll have to deal with them individually because there are separate roll numbers.
Yeah.
Please say your name.
Stephen Lovenstein.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. So who's going to be presenting the evidence?
All three of us.
Okay, so you can affirm at the end or on the swear? Okay, please state your name.
Justin Zardowski.
Do you swear that the evidence you're about to present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God?
I do.
Thank you. State your name. Diane Chavon. Do you swear that the evidence you're about to present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. And please state your name.
Alexander Reffner.
Do you swear that the evidence you're about to present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Please proceed.
Sure. So before we get started, I do have one preliminary issue I'd like to address. It deals with that. It's the fifth parcel that we had a 15-1 agreement on. They've included that 15-1 agreement on page 11 of their documentation. These are without prejudice, so I believe they shouldn't be included in the document, and they shouldn't be given any weight. So,
Okay.
I don't know how you guys want to proceed with that, but that's.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, in our view, or at least we've done the 15-1s a number of times before, the offers are without prejudice, but obviously the settlement is with prejudice, right? Mm-hmm. And because it settles the matter.
Okay, well, we'll consider that matter.
You don't discuss it.
Yeah, maybe we'll take a short recess and discuss this.
Okay.
sorry, yeah, I'm sorry.
Usually the board leads.
Now I'll call this meeting back to order. We have reviewed the Municipal Assessment Act, and pursuant to Section 1515, we will allow the evidence. So please proceed with your presentation.
The roll number is 0605311700. The assessed value is $1,257,000. This is vacant industrial land, so it's tucked into. The zonings, we have M2, general manufacturing for this one. And the land area is 249,293 square feet. I do have a recommendation for this one. Applying $4.02 a square foot to the land area of 249,293 square feet for an overall rounded value of $1,002,000.
Sorry, can you repeat that amount?
$1,002,000. So that was a recommendation.
Thank you. Mr. Zarnowski, Ms. Shinnivan, were you aware of the recommendation?
Yes.
Are you accepting the recommendation?
We are not.
Okay, so please proceed.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
So turning to page 2 of my brief, you can take a look at the land area. You can see it's at the end of a cul-de-sac. Off to Bates, cross-section is Chamomile in the St. Boniface Industrial Park. You can see it is vacant industrial land. Turning to page 3, you can see the zoning of the property is M2. This district is intended to provide for light manufacturing, processing, service, storage, wholesale, and distribution operations, some limited outdoor operations and storage would be the definition of it. Page 4 is just a cost summary showing the total cost at $1.257 million for the land. There's no other buildings or anything else on there. So, turning to page 5, you can see the rent comparables. My rent comparables are on Niagara, Mazenode Road, Black Diamond Road, and Debates. Mazenode, Black Diamond, and Debates are all in the St. Boniface Industrial Park. And the Niagara Road comparable is just south of the property. It's on Niagara, just past the Cimenton yards, the train yards. So they're all in a very close proximity, especially the ones in the St. Boniface Industrial Park. Comparable 2 and 3 are larger than the subject property, 690,456 square feet and 300,771 and 83 square feet. They're zoned M3 for heavy manufacturing, but they have, at the time of sale, there was no water or sewer included in these, so there's no city services, there's no roads. So you can see that the comparables range from, this is on the bottom, I guess of the chart here, at $9.13 a square foot for comparable 1, comparable 2 was $3.80, comparable 3 was $3.77, and comparable 4 was $4.92 a square foot. Comparable 4 is an interesting comparable for this property because it is on the same street as this property. So if you turn to page 7 of my brief, you can see the property. It's the cross section. It's on the corner of Chamomile and Debates, and the subject property is just further down in the cul-de-sac there. So this property sold for $4.92. The sale was in July of 2017, so it's a fairly recent sale. It has a fairly similar square footage to the subject property. And moving forward, we can just take a look at some of the other properties on page 6. The comparable sale number 1, this is the one on Niagara Road. It's Niagara Road it's serviced onto Fermor, and you can see it's a sort of a diamond shaped. It's a bit smaller than the subject property. It's 62,949 square feet, but it's the most recent sale, sold in January 1st of 2018 for $9.13 a square foot. Comparable sale 2, if you look at the bottom of page 6, is the vacant industrial land that's sold for $3.80 a square foot in February of 2016. And this one's quite large. It's 690,456 square feet, but this is the one that didn't include any services. And same with number 3, this is just below comparable number 4. Oh, sorry, my mistake. My mistake. Comparable 3 is not the highlighted region here. It's actually the one below it. If you look at the, I'll show you right here. It's actually this highlighted region right here. It's not the one up here. So this one's 371,083 square feet. It sold for $3.77 a square foot, and it also did not have any services to the property. So moving forward, just page 8 has the class and liability allocation. So looking at the comparables in the property, as I said, I sent a recommendation out for $1,002,000, so I feel that is a fair and equitable value, and I feel that the comparables support that value. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Do you have any questions for the assessor?
Yes, we have some questions.
So, are you aware of the comparable 4, who sold that land? So would it surprise you to know that this subject property, the other ones we're hearing about today, and comparable 4 were all owned by the same owner?
At one point I wouldn't be surprised about that, no. Yeah.
And so if you were looking at the subject property and this comparable 4, you have the notes in the land influence that say bus route and external corner.
Mm-hmm.
And so presumably those land influences would cause the value of that property to be higher?
To a point, yeah.
They were included here for a reason, right?
Yeah, no, well, they're just land influences on that property in particular. Like external corners and bus influences do have some land influence on the property.
And that would increase the value of that property
To a
generally.
point, generally, sure.
Also on the same comparable, do you know who purchased that property?
I don't have that information with me now.
So if it was purchased, would it make a difference if it was purchased by the end user? Is that more valuable to a purchaser when they are the person that's going to use the land?
The person that's going to develop the land?
Yeah.
It's hard to say, like, if that's more to the end user. So if somebody's purchasing the land for the price of sale, it's obviously very important to them as well to sell that property. So how do you weigh what's more important, somebody who wants to develop it or somebody who wants to sell it?
Not sure I understand the question.
Well, it's not really, I'm not really asking a question. It's just
You
a
guys are
general.
asking
Yeah, it's just a
questions.
general question. I don't understand how do you weigh what's more important, somebody who wants to develop it or somebody who wants to sell it?
So develop it and then occupy it. So that person's building it and then going to put their business in it.
Sure, but these people who want to sell it need to sell it to make a profit off of it. Is that not important as well? That's kind of the way I look at it.
Comparable one, are you aware that Super 8 purchased that property?
Did they purchase it or did they sell it off?
They purchased
Did
it.
they purchase the property? Okay, sure.
And they have a property adjacent to it.
They do have
So
property.
that would be of value to them. Would you
Yeah,
agree?
I would agree, yeah.
That would be of particular value to them. Comparable number 3, again, I have the same question. I guess you have the same answer. Did you know that Team Transport purchased that land?
I understood it was sold from the city of Winnipeg to a third or to another party, so I'm not too sure who the buyer was.
And if they were the end user?
I still feel like it's,
Okay. Okay, that's it. Thanks.
More questions? Okay, thank you. Mr. McIntyre?
On your sales, page 5, were all these sales investigated?
yep, they were all investigated and verified by the city of Winnipeg.
And it meets the willing buyer, willing seller?
Yeah, they're all open market.
Okay, thanks, that was it.
Okay, and I have no questions at this time. So thank you. So please proceed with the presentation.
So just as a bit of a history, we recently bought this parcel, and we had been talking to Quadreal for a long time, including we made an offer to them in December of 2017 for this. They had it listed at $250,000 an acre. And we said, way too high. You're never going to get that for it. In fact, when they sold, Quadreal sold to Durban Windows, the comparable number
4.
Of the assessor's brief. They sold it for $215,000, and we still said, you know, you're selling 22 acres here, it's too much. So we made an offer December of 2017 for $160,000 an acre. Pretty much what we're saying the value is, and in fact that was in line with what the assessed value was in 2018. And although our offer was rejected, we did ultimately conclude a transaction post-reference with Quadreal. But during that time, we were having a discussion with them where their price was coming down to the reference date. We didn't quite make a deal at that point, and we were holding firm. We did believe that the value of the land was $160. So when, you know, December of 2017, they say $250, we say $160. You know, January, we say we'll give you $160, they say $240. And so we're moving down. Like I said, we did buy it, but that price would be post-reference. But it's not to say that we offered on this land at $160,000. That's what the assessed value was, and ultimately that's what we still continue to think this value will be. And we'll be able to present evidence next time as to what that purchase price ultimately was. When we bought it as 22 acres. Today, you know, we're talking about 4 rolls that comprise 14.53 acres total. But, you know, to say that the land's worth more because of the size when it just happens to be subdivided, to our mind, you know, it wasn't. We were offering on subdivided land when we offered $160,000 an acre, and that was, you know, that continues to be our belief, was, you know, that we didn't get some great deal, that we paid the market value for it, or we're willing to pay the market value for it.
So once again, our brief does deal with the parcel that we bought as contiguous property, one parcel, and we did settle with the assessor because the value of the 5th parcel was exactly the value we were looking for, and was the market value for this property. But we'll start with page 1. The original parcel was 22.27 acres, and we settled on 7.74 acres, and so the balance for this hearing is 14.53 acres, and divided according to these rules. We have been, the assessor presented the third one down, 5.73 acres, which is the largest piece. You can see below the picture shows the 1, 2, 3, 4 parcels, and it was the one large piece that was settled at the end. We are not on a corner. We are at the very end of this U-shaped property. The 2 parcels on the corner are not ours, are not under appeal by us. You can see on page 2, I'm sorry, there's the one little tiny 0.4 acres. That is an 8-meter water easement. So ideally we can't develop that. It has to remain accessible. And so it's basically worthless. On page 2, the total assessment for the 14.53 acres in 2018 was $2,365,000, and the value increased by 37% to $3,229,000 in 2020, which the assessor has offered some lower rates on that, but that is what the assessment came out as. On page 3, we have some comparables. A couple of them, some of them are the same as the assessor's. 500 Black Diamond at $378 per square foot, 15 Nicholas at $248 for 13 acres, which is very close to the total parcel that we're referring to, at $248. The third comparable at $367. The fourth comparable at $345 a foot. 675 Camille at $402. 600 Camille at $418. 455 Debates, which is the one on the corner, at $482, with access by corner, bus and all the benefits of being on a corner, 615 Mission and Kingsbrook, which is actually not in the general vicinity of the subject property. Page 4, you can see where all the comparables are. They're all very close to the subject being the little yellow odd-shaped piece, and the comparables being the red. And I do not have the little map for the Kingsbrook because it's farther away. But all these comparables are located in the St. Boniface Industrial Park, basically, like the subject. Page 5 shows the individual comparables. 500 Black Diamond, again, was purchased by the end user, and they've been able to use that space exactly how they want to use it. It's not, they don't have to lease it out, they don't have to, they bought it because they knew exactly what they needed to do on that land. 50 Nicholas is a bit of an odd-shaped property, and it's located in the middle of St. Boniface Industrial Park. 580 to 590 Camille Sis is, again, right near the subject property, perfectly square piece of land, ready to develop. And it was $367 per square foot. 695 to 759. Again, this parcel was purchased by an adjacent owner and is kitty corner to the subject property at $345 square foot. 675 Camille, just off Plessis. Again, excellent access right on the main street. We'll skip to number 7, 455 Debates, which is, as the assessor said, on the corner adjacent to the subject property. And you can see on page 8, it's right at the corner of the two streets, has all the access, has the best visibility, and would be the best property on this section of land right here. If you go over to page 9, you can see that's the parcel in the Inkster Industrial Park. At 360 Nicholas.
And so ultimately, the reason we bought this parcel was sold by a developer, Quadreal, who, buy and develop properties, and they bought a lot in the arm of Rosser. The reason they sold this is they said, we can't do business in the city of Winnipeg anymore. So in terms of selling it to make a profit, that actually wasn't their motive. Their motive was to get out of owning development lands in the city of Winnipeg because it was just too hard to do it. And so really they were the most willing seller you could find because they had a corporate mandate to get out of the city of Winnipeg and invest in Rosser here. So that was what gave us the opportunity to purchase it from them. That was why we were having the discussions with them. Normally a developer wouldn't necessarily be looking to sell to another developer, but their mandate changed in terms of doing development here, and that also, unfortunately, the fact that it's in the city of Winnipeg actually does make it worth significantly less, and so we continue to feel that 160,000 a square foot, which works out to, or 160,000 an acre, which works out to the 2,323,800 is the right price.
Finally, if we go to page 11 on the back, is the 15-1 for the one settled parcel, and this value was at $367 per square foot. It's part of the greater parcel, and we feel that is the value.
Thank you very much. Mr. Lowenstein, do you have questions for the applicants? Please go ahead.
With your comparables on page 3, so would you say that properties that are unserviced would sell for less than properties that are serviced?
Yeah.
Okay, so you agree that your comparable 1 is unserviced at the time of sale, and your comparable 2 is also unserviced at the time of sale?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I looked into it, it looked like at the time of sale, like comparables on systems. So then, would you say that sales closer to the reference date would typically sell for more?
Not necessarily.
Yeah. In this case, I think it would be the opposite. That mandate that changed from Quad Rail, they wouldn't have sold this for what we say is the market value as of the reference date 4 years before that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Quad Rail had some motivation to sell it though, to get out of Winnipeg.
Yeah.
So they were willing to sell it for a lower price than what they were initially asking, so they could get out.
I would say more broadly, the market in Winnipeg changed because of the difficulty to do development here, and that's evidenced by Quad Rail's looking to leave.
So you said that's indicative of the market. So you're saying the market's going down, but you have your sales from 2014 are lower than your sales from 2017 and 2016.
There's site-specific differences for each of those. It's not just time, right?
I mean, these are smaller than the large parcel that was purchased. I mean, 2.79 acres, 2.94 acres.
Than
the full parcel.
The overall parcel that you guys purchased.
Which is how it's purchased. Yeah.
But these are subdivided to sell off individually, though, correct?
Correct, but no, they're roll numbers.
They're not. They're in fact the opposite, because the way that cul-de-sac works, you're not going to be able to knock three egresses and accesses off of it. So you really, like, if you look at the map of this, the city's not going to. Page 1. You've got a roundabout there. The city's not going to let you carve out a right in, right out even on each of these parcels there. Like even to do an access to the southwest and southeast off of that roundabout wouldn't be likely to be approved. The way we are developing this, because it's the only sensible way we can see, is as even though it's subdivided, we're going to hold all of it. It's going to be cross access. We're going to have one drive aisle servicing to one access on each side of the road. Like that's the only practical way to do it.
So these are all under one title?
No, the 5 titles, 1 owner.
5 titles, 1 owner. Okay, those are my questions. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. McIntyre.
I have no questions.
Nor do I. Okay, thank you.
So I guess with the caveat now that our evidence will be the same for the other 3 parcels.
Yes. I'm realizing what you meant now.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same as like the cap rate study that goes through. But we would still have to, the city will still have to read in.
So, yeah, that being said, my evidence is the same for 3 of them. It's a little different for the last one. So I'll go through maybe just the front page of it.
That would be perfect. We'll just go through each one like that. So then I guess the next one, the next one would be 7,500. Or it's the roll number. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Roll number 06053117500. The assessed value $1,157,000. Again, it's vacant industrial land. The land area is 226,807 square feet. I do have a recommendation on this one as well for $912,000. That's using $4.02 square foot applied to the land area. Again, my evidence.
Sorry, I just have to ask.
Oh, sorry.
Are you? Not, okay.
No, of course not.
Okay, please proceed.
Again, my evidence is the same as the last one, the same comparables, the same pictures, same zoning. So if there are any questions like last time, no question. But I feel the value of my recommendation is fair and equitable and should be confirmed.
Did you have any questions or?
No, it's the same questions as the other one.
Sure. Okay, thank you. And same.
Same.
Oh, sorry, Mr. McIntyre, do you have any questions for this?
No questions, same
Okay.
evidence.
Yes, nor do I, so. Same evidence.
Exactly, our evidence will be the same.
Do you have any
I have no
different questions? Okay.
Same questions.
Okay, thank you. So then you can proceed with,
Okay.
I guess, the next one, which will be roll number ending in 4,500.
It's 06093154500. The assessed value is $756,000. Again, it's vacant industrial land. The land area is 139,357 square feet. I do have a recommendation for this one. It's at $4.18 a square foot, applied to the land area of 139,357 square feet. The recommendation value is $582,500. This one's a little more than the other two at $4.18 due to the fact that economies of scale, if they do come into play, it is a smaller parcel, and also it's in a better location than the other two parcels that we're looking at. It's not on, it's away from the I guess the cul-de-sac, and it abuts the property that's sold for $4.92. The debates in my evidence. So I feel that my recommendation is fair and equitable and should be confirmed.
Thank you. Are you accepting the assessor's recommendation?
No.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any questions for the assessor, Mr. McIntyre?
No questions.
Nor do I. So.
And just given that they're making, or the assessor's making a difference in value on each of these parcels, I think we just want to make it clear we're saying they're all worth the same because we bought them all together.
Okay.
But otherwise, same evidence.
I'm just making some notes from it. Okay, and the next matter is a roll number ending in 6500.
So just give me a second here.
Absolutely, take your time.
Okay, yeah, the roll number is 0605311650. The land area is actually incorrect on here. It should be 17,419 square feet. I believe I have that, yeah. And so that makes the value at 59,000 for the assessed value. So turning to page 2, you can just see this is the
Sorry, what?
Sorry, so 59,000 is the assessed value, but the square feet I have incorrect. It's 17,419 square feet.
Okay,
I believe.
got it, thank you.
Yep. So turning to page 2, you can see this is a very thin, narrow, long strip of land in between the two properties. It is a water easement. They are, without a doubt, difficult to value. Very similar to a hydro property that's long. That being said, we're at $3.39 per square foot for this property. I'll quickly just go through some of the comparables to show. Comparable sale number 1 is on Marion. Again, it's a long strip of land, not a water easement, but would be difficult to develop. Sold for $3.39. A similar square footage is 17,491 square feet. Comparable sale number 2. Again, another long strip of land beside a property sold in October. Oh, sorry. I've got my subject and comparables mixed up here. So comparable 1 was on Marion, and it's 59,995 square feet, and sold for $3.16 in October of 13. Comparable 2 sold in November of 2013 for $10.98 a square foot. Again, you can turn to page 7 and see it. Long, narrow strip of land. Comparable 3 is in Hyde, further away from the subject property. Sold in July of 2017 for $9.67. And the last one is on Mission, not at all like the property, but I put it in there to show that it's contaminated land. It's sold for $5, so again, would be hard to develop with contamination for the development aspect of this property. Overall, I feel the assessed value of $59,000 is fair and equitable and should be confirmed. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Do you have any questions? Assessor?
What do you think we could do with this?
Yeah, not a lot. There's, you have an easement on it. I guess I don't even know if you could put a road through it, so, yeah. Road would be the only thing I could look at, that you might be able to put through to gain access at some point.
So it's really only of value to somebody who owns the other 2 parcels.
Good.
We don't have any other questions.
Thank you very much. Mr. McIntyre?
I think I had one.
Sure.
Are any of your comparisons, do they have any utility easements?
They have no easement.
No easements. Okay, that was my only question. I do have one of the accounts now.
Okay, thank you. Please proceed.
So this is a new record for us. We were actually saying that this land is worth more than the assessor because we want it to be consistent. We treat this as one property. We will use this even though we can't build over it. It's a little bit inconvenient for our development, but it'll end up being a road or parking. And so we will, in fact, use it as part of the rest of the development. So we valued it at the 367 along with the rest because to us it's all part and parcel.
Having said that, I mean, we wouldn't want to, we're not asking for an increase.
I understand.
Yeah.
We understand your position.
Sorry, Sandy.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're not going to agree with us on the other ones, then let's not raise the value on this.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any questions for me?
No questions.
The obvious question is, why wouldn't you merge it with parcel 7,000?
You never want to give up lots because if we end up needing to subdivide this, most often we want to have one building on one title because it makes us, dealing with the taxes much easier. And if you consolidate them and you want to go and create an extra title later, the city charges you dedication. And so for now, we're still kind of at the early stages of conceptualizing this development. More titles is better than less.
But certainly you wouldn't sell that parcel again the way it sits with an easement, would you?
No one would buy it.
Well, begs the question, why did you buy it?
Well, we bought it because we bought everything else.
Contiguous, it's all, I mean, what would we do if we had the parcel on one side and the parcel on the other?
But you don't own the parcel on the
We do.
north side of the easement?
Well, north of the easement is the roundabout. So we own east and
We own,
west.
yeah, right.
Oh, you
beside.
do? Okay, so this is the one that's been settled? The
Yes.
one to the right of?
But we still own it.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Okay, that's my question.
and it was part of the 22 acres, all these 5 parcels.
Okay, thanks. That was it.
Thank you. I have no questions. So thank you very much. I will now close the hearing. Thank you.
Thank you.